What's up, everybody? It's Jay with Scraps and Taps, and we're back with the video. Honestly, last week I had a video recorded and everything, and I got so lazy, and I think it was just the time between 324 and 325 where I was just like, oh, like I was just lazy. I was just like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to get what I want to do in time, and so I was like, fuck, you know what? I'm just gonna take the L on that one, and yeah, so I just chose not to. I just chose not to do anything because, like I said, I just felt like it was too much time in between stuff. But I'm back this week. The second Paramount showing. Um, Gaethje versus Pimblett was sick. Obviously, it was a war, a slobber knocker, exactly what I expected it to be. But this week we have UFC 325 down in Sydney, Australia, and it was Volk versus Diego Lopez for the featherweight title. It was a rematch of a fight we had last year. It was the rematch that nobody really asked for, but it was a fun fight anyways. So yeah, it was it was going to be exciting either way, I think. I think people were just upset about the rankings and stuff now where Mofsar and Lerone stand. So, I mean, now it's kind of like, all right, we got over the hump. Volk was able to retain. Let's see what happens now. Anyways, let's start down at the bottom of the prelims. We have Lawrence Louis defeating Sulan Grombo, a split decision. It was a road to UFC bantamweight title fight. Then we had Kiichiro Nakamura defeating Sebastian Szalay. We had a TKO round 3 for the road to UFC featherweight. Domar Far defeats Sung Woo Kim, unanimous decision, and this was all for the road to UFC season 4 tournament finals. Then we get, the prelims are pretty hot in this fight. They were pretty good. So to start off the first prelim, we get Mikhailov versus Elliott. Oban, he's a big prospect right now. Started off really, really hot in the first round, showing his striking is very good, top tier. I mean, he was really piecing up. But Mikhailov did catch him towards the end of round 1, almost sat him down. Mikhailov, towards the end of that round, got a cut over the top of his right eye in the final seconds of round 1. It started bleeding pretty good into his eye. Oban then throws a nasty kick to Mikhailov that made I think it was to like the outside of his leg, but the thud that it made my skin crawl. It was disgusting. It sounded bone to bone. And in round 2, Mikhailov was able to get Oban off the fence and scrabbled down to the floor, immediately working on that back take to the rear naked choke. And he squeezed Oban's life out. It was pretty nasty. And it sucks because Oban was actually doing really good. Like I said, on the hands, he was doing really, really good, showing off his striking. But he just got caught up in that wrestling and wasn't able to get out. But and I think that's Oban's biggest threat, right, is that those wrestlers who are able to capitalize with the submission, not Oban's best night. But shout out to Mikhailov, gets the win, rear naked choke, round 2. Then we move on to Malkoun versus Torres Finney. In the beginning of the fight, Malkoun was already establishing how well of a striker he was, throwing amazing combos, super fast. And Finney... Sorry, my cat is fucking up my furniture right now. Finney is looking massive. I mean, this guy is jacked. They fight at middleweight. Finney looks like a little tank. Finney has like a really good jab, though. It's pretty stiff, but Malkoun is just eating those jabs. And then Jacob starts putting his hands together and starts really, really tearing apart Torres in the first round. These guys are just going at a smothering pace. And Finney's just becoming like a punching bag in that first round. And after the second round, it's apparent that Finney has like a leg injury. Finney's just throwing one strike at a time. He's not really putting anything together. It's just one, back to reset. Um, he gets like little flashes of throwing one or two punches, but Malkoun is just really good at stringing all his punches together, 4 to 5 punches, cutting those angles, and then resetting, going again for another combo. He's just so fast. Malkoun then ends up dropping Torres midway through the second round with the stinging right hand, and basically keeps him on the ground to the end of round 2, which I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that Finney was able to survive till then. Third round, Torres decides to finally throw some heat. I mean, they were looping punches, but it was still 3 punches together. But I felt like, it was too little, too late. The majority of the fight was controlled by Malkoun and ends up defeating Torres Finney. Like I said, Malkoun did a good job of keeping the fight standing and protecting himself by wrestling Finney up against the fence during that third round. It was more of protective wrestling. I think he wanted to coast to, not coast, but right. Finney had nothing for him on the top. Finney had nothing for him on the feet. It was all Malkoun. So Malkoun going in for a shot and getting him up against the fence, I think, was just a way to protect his that third round. No more damage, no more punishment, no more chance to give him a chance to win. Then we get Cam Rowson versus Cody Brundage. Dude, this guy Cam looks freaking huge compared to Brundage. I mean, and Cam has a crazy reach, and the way he throws his punches, I can tell he's a master of his range. But during this fight, Brundage was just waiting for him to get close enough in range and throw like 3 or 4 punch combo. But Cam is willing to stand in the pocket and trade. I say economically, and then bounce out to reset. You could keep seeing that Cody continues to fall back. Like, this guy is huge. Cam is good at putting that pressure on. I saw in this fight, and Brundage would slowly back up, until he finally got to the cage. And there was a lot of, I feel like, momentous switches in the fight that made it super exciting. But Rowson taking a lot of control in this fight, even when it went down to the ground in round 2. Cam was just throwing ground and pound and sticking on Cody's back. I mean, he would punch, and then as soon as Cody would try to scoot out, go to position, I mean, he was already like on top of him on his back, right? And you can hear Cody's coach. I think they said it was Mark Montoya. When they were on the feet, he has to wake his feet up because he kept just moving back and then accepting that. And then Cam can get off his punches, but he would stay there. He wouldn't move. But Cam shows that his level is just way above that. I mean, he looked really, really good in this fight. Super confident, not only in his striking, but also his ground ability. And I'm really looking forward to Cam's next fight. I hope they give him a solid fight, a ranked fight for his next fight. So good luck to Cam. And Cody didn't look too bad in the wrestling. I mean, he was willing to stand there and caught him a couple times, but that guy Cam is just that guy. Our next fight, Junior Tafa versus Billy Elikana. And Tafa, within the first minute of the first round, knocks down Elikana with a nasty right. But Elikana is able to throw a panic takedown and gets on top. To get on top, right? He throws this takedown, and then they scramble a little bit to get on top, then back up to the fence and get back up to their feet. Now, the downfall of the Tafa brothers is a person who can take them down and knows how to work the wrestling and knows how to work the jiu-jitsu. I mean, work the submission more, rather. It's like the Tafa brothers' kryptonite, honestly. And Elikana tries a slick Piotr Jan style takedown behind the leg throw. He almost had it. Just almost had it. And he gives him like a little smirk like, oh yeah, I almost got you. And midway through round 2, Elikana gave up on the takedown, but used that to sneak the back take and ran Tafa to the fence. And after this, it was a wrap for Tafa. Elikana finds a way to Tafa's neck and gets the rear naked choke sub. I mean, what a great showing. I mean, Junior had him in that first thing, but Billy really showed his versatility going for the takedown. I think he even said in the post-fight speech that he wasn't really didn't want to put so much on the takedown, but that's all he could do. So, I mean, that's how it just panned out. So, he had to do what he had to do to get the dub, and Billy Elicana gets that win. Round number 2, rear naked sub. Then we got the hot prospect, Quillen Salkeld versus Jamie Malarkey. Quillen, like I said, is a top prospect in the UFC, and he's facing a UFC vet in Jamie Malarkey. So the momentum going into this fight is definitely on the side of Quillen. He's coming off that insane head kick knockout of Nasrat Haqparast. And Malarkey is just a seasoned vet. He's just a guy who's been in there with some names, and I feel like he's getting towards the end of his career. I saw an old video of him fighting Volkanovski in like the regional scene, probably. But during the fight, Malarkey had a nice takedown for a second off the fence, but Quillen is just quickly scrambled out and both reset to get back to the feet. I mean, this fight was really quick, and Quillen throws Malarkey with a beautiful foot in throw, just absolutely tosses him, and as soon as he gets to the ground, looks for the back and chokes out Malarkey with another rear naked sub. I mean, first round, getting this dude out there, showing that he can work his way out of the sub, he can work his way out of the wrestling, he can work his way off the fence and just really mix it up. So shout out to Quillen. He's on a hot streak, so keep your eye out on this guy. Then we get the big boys, Tai Tuivasa versus Taliesin Teixeira. And these boys said, fuck conditioning. Tai also is now an older fighter, and he was weighing in at over 300 pounds at the start of his camp, guys. 300 pounds. I think the heavyweight limit is 265 pounds, which is fucking insane. So, the camp must have been really tough on Tai, having to lose all that weight. Not only to lose all that weight, but having to get to peak at that same. Like, that's a long journey. Losing over 40 pounds is like a long journey to get back to. And if you see on Instagram, somebody posted a TJ Dillashaw edit of Tai being the only heavyweight to cut down to 265, and it made me laugh so. But Taliesin he's a complete fighter. And to his advantage, he's tall. I mean, Taliesin is a tall heavyweight fighter, like a skyscraper. I don't know if you guys remember Stefan Struve in the UFC, but he's just as tall as Stefan. Has that same like where he can look over the fence just by doing that. Doesn't have to be on his tippy toes or anything. And has some slick jiu-jitsu. He's actually known for his heel hooks. So this guy is somebody who can do it all, So most of the first round was spent with Taliesin controlling Tai on the ground just from one takedown. Taliesin is for sure aware of the power of the repeated kicks because that's what he did in the beginning of round 2. And Tai is just trying to keep it dirty. I think in round 2 he does it. He finds a way to keep it dirty, and that's what keeps Taliesin to be more aware of that power, right? He just has to fight dirty, but he would have been able to win the fight if he kept fighting dirty, but he was just getting tired, and as he kept getting tired, he kept clinching and clinching and clinching when he should have just broke off and tried to go for that knockout, right? Again, we saw that with Derek Lewis. It's hard to be a one-dimensional fighter when you're fighting these guys who have absolute skill in every single facet of the game. So, and at this point, Tai gets hit like a whack-a-mole and gets frozen in time. And Taliesin takes the chance after the 3-punch combo and then hits him with a takedown to full mount. Controls Tai pretty much for the last minute and a half, but giving no damage. At this point, I think also Taliesin is getting tired. So getting into the third, both guys are gassed, throwing anything they could with the last bits of energy they had. Both guys just so fucking exhausted. But like I said, Tai, when he would start getting some momentum, he would go in and start going for the clinch, which was trying to buy him some time to get that energy back, right? So he can throw another maybe fight ending 4-punch combo. But dude, they're just trying to take a breather. But I know that even Talisman was like, thank God I don't gotta do much. I'm just gonna let this dude press up on me, and then that's it. But I mean, they were so exhausted. Their arms heavier than your mom's tits. The fight ends, and the winner is fucking pure exhaustion. I mean, absolutely. Nah, but Talisman gets the dub. I really cannot believe how it went for the full 15 minutes. I'm surprised that they didn't have to just give him a full oxygen refill right there. Then we get Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Hufi. So both of these guys, if you haven't heard yet, have the best, most creative striking in the division. So versatile from both. You know, Hufi reminds me more of like a Conor McGregor style fighter. He's got that long karate stance. Maybe also like Henry Cejudo. You know, they got that long karate stance. He does that weird thing with his hands where he goes like this, right, and like has this looping like lead hand. But Fiziev has a little bit more Aldo style, I think, with the power kicks that he does, um, and just how he can flurry them sometimes throw 2 or 3 at a time. Um, Also gives me a little, a little bit of like some Rafael dos Anjos. Um, I feel like, yeah, that's my opinion on that. Anyways, Fiziev is giving lots of kicks in the beginning, trying to chop the tree and take the speed out of the equation, right? So when you're fighting long stance guys like that, they leave their lead leg open because they're willing to. That's what they're going to use to try to side kick you, whatever. And so you take the speed out, you take that bounce out from from their leg, just chopping the tree. You chop at the trunk, the tree falls, right? Anyways, Rufi in the majority of the first round, he was really just trying to pick his shots. I mean, he was becoming like a he was just sitting there trying to pick his shots, just stick on the outside, get away from Fiziev's kicks, but he was chopping him up pretty good. Then Hufi starts opening up in the second round and lands a really clean spinning back kick. Hufi's still picking his shots like a sniper in round 2, doing some good damage. But Fiziev, he keeps using his pressure to keep Rufi's back stuck to the fence so he cannot generate that forward power. He's cutting off the chance to let him bounce and move forward unless he's using the cage. But for a guy with a long stance like that, he's used to having his legs open. So if he can shorten that distance, he's taken a lot of power away from that. But Hufi finally makes his move and stuns Fiziev with a precise, I mean, absolutely precise straight right, and has Rafael on skates. And down to the ground, Rafael, sorry, on skates. And down on the ground is where the fight gets done. And with the biggest win of his career, Hufi gets the TKO win over Rafael Fiziev. What a fucking awesome fight. I mean, it was exactly what it was going to be. These just two strikers. They didn't going to put it on the ground. Then our co-main event, Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. So Dan's game plan here was to kick. That's exactly how we started off that first round, kicking Benoit in the chest. And that's exactly what happened last week in the Gaethje versus Pimblett fight. Gaethje hit Pimblett in the solar plexus, and Pimblett said that it changed the whole fight for him beginning to end, right? So Hooker, midway through the first round, finds so much success because BSD's body language starts changing when he starts hitting those kicks. I think it was about like 3 or 4 kicks before you start seeing Benoit want to keep protecting his chest, kind of keeping his hands low with his left hand protecting like right in the middle of his chest. So Benoit is on high alert after that kick up the middle. And BSD gets his beautiful hip toss after multiple attempts. And the punishment starts for Hooker. This is where it really starts on the ground. Elbows raining down. And then Benoit starts threatening the Kimura, trying to lift his hand up. But I think Hooker does a good job of putting his hand in between his legs so that it's hard for him to pull that back up. In the start of round 2, Dan does not stop threatening the guillotine. He went to the ghillie school. He went to jump the ghillie. Don't be silly, jump the ghillie. He went to that school, and but Benoit has such a good. I mean, he fucked up with Armin too. He tried to get the submission, and then He was able to spin out of it. Benoit does the same thing, spins out, has this excellent defense, and manages to get on top and trap Dan's left arm and just, dude, some heavy, heavy, unprotected elbows. But you got to give it to Dan's lizard skin. Protects him with no damage. I think he took like 5 straight to the fucking face. Oh, shit. You guys see that? How long has she been there? This is my cat, Saki. Did you hear that beat too? She's in deep thought. Anyways, um, I mean, and Dan ate that shit, dude, like a fucking Sunday buffet. So from here, that's when Benoit transitions to a head and arm choke and spends a good amount of time just trying to get this sub. A bunch of times having to reset to sink the position in deeper, but Dan survives, but not for long because BSC throws elbow after elbow, and with only 15 seconds left in the round, Benoit gets the ground and pound finish and another notable win to Benoit Saint Denis' fucking God of War career. Sorry about that. My speaker was on and it was making a weird noise that I never heard, so it freaked me out. Anyways, let's get on to the main event of the evening. I mean, Alex Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. What a great homecoming for Volk. I mean, hearing the whole stadium copy Bruce Buffer and then scream Alex's name. I know fans said this is the rematch that nobody wanted, and I get it. But it was a fun fight to run back regardless. I mean, they probably just see how it had to fit in the schedule. They probably owed Australia one. They were like, all right, we're going to give you something. And it was just easier to book this rematch. I mean, it was still fun. I think Volk even said at one point, he was like, how much more can you learn in the months that we've had our first fight? So he doesn't really think anything was going to be different, which I agree with. But Diego still is a tough opponent, and he just shows why he does deserve to be at the top of the division, and not running away from a scrap with Volk. So round one, back and forth, Volk taking control of Diego on the fence for a brief moment. Diego is also able to get out with some space, but he eats some punches, some nasty punches from Volk. But he's shaking his head like, that shit ain't going to hurt me. So Diego does a good job of securing the center of the octagon. They get into these short firefights midway through round two. Both guys start opening up. And at the end, Volk gets taken down to the fence and jumps on a guillotine, which was the most surprising thing ever. I thought it was pretty close, but I think how long Diego was there, I was like, okay, he's going to get out. He's going to be able to chance to pop out once he gets lower to the ground. And that was like the last 30 seconds of the fight. Then there's a big right from Volk that lands as Diego enters in the space in the third, and it stuns him in place. And then 40 seconds left in round three, Diego catches him with the right, and gets flash dropped. So they put the sequence on the... Sorry. They put the... I'm talking a little too fast. Sometimes when I have notes and stuff, because this is hard to do off the top. I think you guys can tell when some things are being read and other things aren't. But anyways, I thought that Volk tripped on his own foot. I mean, he got caught, but tripped on his own foot, and that's what made him do that. But when they did the replay during the corner work, I mean, he got caught clean right in the mouth, and then he fell. But it was definitely a flash drop. And I think round 4 could have gone, either way. And round 5, Diego catches Volk with an elbow. Oh, God, dude, this was nasty. He catches Volk's elbow with his foot, and he hesitates to put his foot on the ground. So definitely there was an injury during that part. And even injured, Diego presses on. He's able to reverse, standing off the fence, picking up Volk just like a kid. He literally just goes, picks him up, and starts threatening submissions as he jumps on the back. And they get down to the ground. And from there, Diego threatens another armbar. And then from there, we get down to the zestiest position of the fight, the 50-50 almost standing up. And Volk retains his title in Sydney, Australia. I mean, if it was going to go to decision, I felt like it was going to go to Volk either way. But Diego, like I said, shows why he still should be at the top of the division. And I think this card was a great card. I mean, it showed a lot of Australian fighters, and dude, those guys are killers in the in the octagon. So it was a good showing for them. Now this being the second show in the Paramount era, right? It was everybody was getting these technical issues with the with the stream, right? The signal kept cutting in and out, in and out. And I have to say, I don't understand. Paramount was Viacom. Viacom used to have Bellator, and they had fight production teams, and they're still dropping the ball. Like, all the audio issues that happen there, like, are actually really fucking annoying. Even if it's $8.99, like, I don't understand. Like, this shouldn't be happening, right? They should get these kinks out before. Or I don't understand how they're still having these issues. The guy speaking before, like, on top of the commentators, you can testing 1 2 testing, like, all that bullshit. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like really annoying. Like, I feel like if the NFL had these issues and stuff, like, people would really be like, what the fuck is going on? You know? You got anything to say about that? I actually got nothing to say about that. And yeah, like, I mean, it's all mainly audio stuff. Like, I don't understand. Like, a lot of people stepping on each other, them not getting the corner, like the corner stuff. I really fucking hate how we don't get the walkouts, even on the fucking replays. You don't get the walkouts, you don't get the corner talk. Like, that's the best fucking part of the shit. Like, that's the best part of the show. I don't want to watch just the fights. I want to watch the whole fucking thing. The walkout to the end. They even cut off the post-fight speech. They cut off the post-fight speech for Diego, I think. But, like, I don't know. Like, those are those things that they need to listen to the fans and change, because it's just those audio things. It's just so fucking elementary and so annoying. Like, I just don't understand how a $7.7 billion company can just fuck up that royally. So, yeah, it is what it is. You got anything to say about that now? Yeah. And then during the broadcast, you get a funny video of them cutting back to the production offices, the Paramount production offices, and it's Chris Weidman, Dan Hellie, and Robert Whitaker on the desk, and they're chilling. And it's so funny because I've been on productions before, and it's just, yeah, they don't give these dudes a break, and it's pretty funny when they are on break mode. So.
Oh, look at these guys. I mean, Chris Weidman, could there be worse television studio etiquette?
I mean, Robert Whitaker taking it a little bit too easy. Robert, look alive. Come on, chump.
The reality is Robert Whitaker's far too comfortable. Like, this ain't his first time. He act like he's been there the whole time. And
Yeah.
look at Weidman.
And Dan Hellie.
These guys are ridiculous. No, that's Brendan
It's
Fitzgerald.
Brendan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Michael. Hey,
My bad.
Michael, everybody don't look the same, man.
I feel like they,
Listen, when you've got my vision, they kind of do.
Okay.
I feel like
See, even I said Dan Hellie also, but it was so funny. I've been on the backside of production, Brendan Fitzgerald. But yeah, seeing all them chill like that, watching the fights just in between chilling. But yo, they did my boy Chris Weidman so dirty. He has these blue socks 2 feet up on the fucking desk. The desk is higher than his chest, so he's at this point knees above chest almost, like absolutely chilling. And they did him so dirty. And then we got the Reaper Robert Whitaker 1 foot up, looking like he's gonna kill somebody on his off time. I mean, he looks pretty fucking hilarious. If that's his resting bitch face, I would not want to be anywhere near this fucking guy. I think he's gonna rip my head off in 30 seconds if I look at him. But man, it just brings me back to those times where, you got to break on production and the set looks how it is, or we still have to reset. And yeah, it's just a funny thing in there. And then Michael Bisping being like, "Oh, with my vision, I can't really tell." Blah blah blah. It was actually pretty funny. He actually got him good. That's a good way to get out of shit when you can't see. Just the guy with the one eye. He played the one eye man card. But yeah. But anyways, y'all, 2 events, Paramount era. I think next week is a fight night at the Meta Apex, or the first event at the Meta Apex. Yeah, yeah. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the week. I hope everybody's out there working hard, feeding their families, hanging out with their families, spending time with their loved ones. This January's getting pretty cold. Go do something outside. Go snowboard. I don't fucking know. Yeah. I'm actually just pretty fucking hungry right now. I haven't eaten anything all day. But anyways, you guys, this is Jay with Scraps and Taps. You guys take it easy. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.